A few weeks ago, someone told me that there was no chance I could build a landing page worth $1 million using AI. So I picked a martial arts studio in my city, opened up Claude Code, and 30 minutes later, I had a landing page that I probably could have sent and closed him off the back of. Now, I'm not telling you the landing page itself is actually worth $1 million, but the process behind it I've used for over 50 businesses, and it's the same workflow that operators in our program are using to land clients every single week. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact process on how you can create literally insane landing pages with AI in under 30 minutes and sell it for 4, maybe even 5 figures a pop on a week-over-week basis. All right, first thing, the type of business you pick matters more than how you actually build the page. I'm not picking a fake business with a perfect logo and perfect concept. I'm picking a real business with a real site that's underperforming right now in current reality. The reason is because they can actually see the tremendous upgrade that you are offering. And there are an infinite amount of businesses right now that have so outdated websites that just look absolutely terrible. So when you take the website you build and take the outdated website that the business currently has, and you let them look at both of them and compare the two, then you don't even have to pitch them. The deal's already closed. They can just see the tremendous upgrade that they would be getting if they got your website. It's very important that you guys understand right now, I'm going to show you how to make money building websites, not building just for fun. You can do that, but my focus is on helping you guys make more money. All right, this is Columbus Martial Arts Academy. This is a martial arts studio in Ohio. I figured it'd be a fun thing for us to use as an example. This is a real business. As you can see, their website is absolute trash. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible website, but you can see they do jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA, different stuff. Again, terrible website. I mean, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. It's atrocious. And let's look up Columbus Martial Arts. So when we look them up, you can see like, all right, this is a real business. They got 54 Google reviews. I don't see any of their Google reviews anywhere on here. So like, that's just an example of like, this is a real business that actually has money coming through the door. They have clients, they have students, whatever they refer to them as. And so if we can go to this established business, show them an extremely better website, it's a no-brainer. However much you're going to charge them for it, they're going to purchase it. I mean, I made this in 4th grade. This is a terrible website. This was made on Wix.com free plan. So before we give this website a makeover, let's just go through it. Let's audit it. Let's understand what it's currently doing wrong. So before we even move through the website, you can see empower your mind and body through martial arts training. Doesn't really get me going at all. There's no picture here. It's just text. The font is terrible. You can't even see that they have a trial. So it looks like 1 month free membership. So you have to find the trial. Someone is not seeing that they have any sort of trial. The trial should be much clearer, definitely above the fold, or just somewhere closer to the top. It should be known, hey, we have a welcome trial. We have 3 month, I think is what they're giving. Then when we also scroll to, let's see, do they have a coaches section? Do they show the coaches? So we got our instructors are highly trained. I mean, this does not make your coaches or your instructors look that great. It doesn't go into detail about who each of these people are, why are they even qualified to train in the first place. And keep in mind, I mean, stuff like this, I'm not going to be able to get from just scraping their website. But you sell them on the website as a whole, and then after you sell them and get the information you need, you can fill in the nuanced information. We're just coming in, and what you'd want to do just to make sure your outreach and everything is productive, you just want to come in and objectively make it 10 times better. Don't waste time going into the specifics. Don't get into the nitty-gritty. Just overlay it with a way better website, and then you can add all the nuanced information after they are signed, after they're agreed to pay you money or already paid you money. Their privacy policy is just on the main page, and as you can see, I don't even want to accept these cookies. I don't even know what this is, but we're just a little down from halfway on the page, and now we're just looking at their privacy policy. They have the terms of service on here too, so I don't even know, but the privacy policy is on the main page. I've never even seen that before. That's crazy. That's a wild decision to make. Let's see what their FAQ looks like. Okay, so look at this. They're using whatever GoDaddy gave them when they made their LLC in 2025. GoDaddy told them, hey, here's the website you can just use based off the survey information that we got from you. That's the competition, guys. Your competition is a template from either Wix or GoDaddy GoDaddy or Squarespace. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible site. You can't even see the name of the business on their actual, I mean, this is terrible. I mean, I think it's pretty clear on why this is not an optimal website. So before we actually get into the real build, I want to make sure you understand what the actual play is. What are we actually trying to do here? Again, we're not just trying to make websites just to make websites. The play is, this is a business that makes money. They have people coming in through the door and they have a terrible website. So whatever you charge them for the website, maybe it's $1,000, maybe it's $3,000, $5,000, maybe it's $10,000 that you're charging them for the website. You could just keep it at that. All right, yo, here's your website. Or if you actually have other services to provide, whether that's marketing, whether that's SEO, whether that's sales, I don't know what it is. If you have any other services, use this as a low barrier to entry mechanism to just get your foot into the door and open yourself up to, okay, well, now we got your website good, but your guys' SEO is absolutely trash. Let's fix that up. Either add on a retainer, however you want to structure that. Look, I'm not talking to beginners. If you're watching this, I'm hoping you have motion. So whatever you're currently doing, you can use this as a mechanism to just get your foot in the door, get paid to get your foot in the door, and then upsell them on further services. All right, so enough hating on their website. Let's actually do what I told you I was going to do, and let's actually build them a new website. So I'm going to open up Anti-Gravity. If you don't know what Anti-Gravity is, it's just an IDE. It's just displaying the terminal. There's other components in this app. It's from Google. The equivalent to this is VS Code. I use Anti-Gravity. There's no difference between the two. Anti-Gravity is built on VS Code. And again, all I use this for is Claude Code. I just run Claude Code. So I'll show you right here when I open it up. I just type in Claude. I am open in my directory. I just run Claude. That's all I use Anti-Gravity for. So that's what we're going to be working out of to create this website for Columbus Martial Arts Academy. But before we get carried away, there is something you guys need to understand about AI websites and just honestly AI as a whole, but we're talking about websites. Almost every single AI generated website looks the exact same. Just vibe coded, has that same like font. I don't want to know what the font's called, but you know what I'm talking about. Puts like the icon in the top left corner, always gives everything like a dark and blue theme to it. You can just tell it's vibe coded. And the reason why it's vibe coded is because everyone creating those, whether it's a dashboard, whether it's a platform, whether it's a website, they're giving it one subpar prompt, maybe two subpar prompts, and just letting Claude Code lead the way. Let Claude build the whole thing. Don't even give it any input at all to actually get you what you want. Just tell Claude to figure out what it wants to give you. That's why it's giving you the same vibe coded looking BS that everyone else gets. So in order to mitigate that, I brain dump everything I know about the client or the business as a whole into a client directory, a custom client directory that I built for my company. Here, let me actually show you. So this client directory, actually this is a whole business infrastructure, and this one is just a template that I use for videos that I make. So I have like an actual internal one. This is just a template of it, but still works the same. This is a full infrastructure that can be used by literally any business that conducts any aspect of their business operations online. They can use this business. Even if their stuff isn't online, like they can still utilize this, but I don't want to yap too much about this. Essentially, in this client directory, here are some of the example things that I made. I have different clients in here, and I don't name them well because, again, this is just what I use for videos and stuff, but this is the Columbus MMA one that I did. So I have this full directory that I'm going to be operating out of. And the reason I'm even telling you guys about this as a whole, those vibe coded looking websites, those ChatGPT websites, there's no context. There's no skills being used. This folder that I'm showing you guys, we have skills upon skills in here. I mean, we have agents here, and this what we're going to be using is the actual landing page agent. But we have all these different agents, and this landing page agent actually has skills. It actually has references that it uses. So it's not going to just produce the same template vibe coded looking website because we're actually moving about this entire process correctly. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. And to give you guys a better representation of what this directory actually is and how it's all interlinked, you can see this entire ecosystem. Obviously some stuff's not connected. Look at all of these clusters of files, of skills, of agents that are all connected, that all work together and feed each other information. They don't lose context, they feed each other information. But essentially all of those little orbs you saw, those are either files, those are skills, those are agents, whatever they are, they all work together. They all produce actual outputs that you need. Claude Code, and any AI tool for that matter, is capable of producing the things that you want, the outputs that you want. You, the user, lack giving it context, you lack giving it crucial information. It doesn't understand the business from a full 360 perspective. So mitigating these things will allow you to have significantly better outputs than, the typical average Joe that gets a Claude Code or a Claude Max plan. All right, so I have this prompt here. Let me just paste it so you guys can see. Essentially, all I did was have Claude Code, my vault specifically, with the scraping agent and the research agent we have, I had it scrape the entire business. It scraped the entire landing page, figured out everything that it was able to figure out about this business from publicly available information. So it's not only looking at the website, it's pulling things from Google, it's pulling things from backlinks, all these different things. And it essentially created this brain dump right here. And this brain dump is what I'm just gonna paste in to Claude Code and anti-gravity just to get it started. But keep in mind, guys, this is all publicly available information. You don't want to spend the time going through, writing down, have a scraping agent or a research agent go and grab those things, and I can make videos on that in the future. But when it comes to the specific information that's not publicly available, don't worry about that right now. Sign the client, get paid, then add in that information and worry about spend the time, let them tell you what they want to have, updates, this and that. When you're just kind of building this out, this is something, I'm going to walk you through this process. I have this automated. I'm doing this at mass scale. Right now, it does not take me as long as it's about to take us to go through this one. We're about to do it in a very short amount of time. But here's the thing. It's about spreading across the market. Start with the US, not just across the city, not just across the state, not just across the nation, but we want to get volume. It's a volume game. It's a long-winded way of me saying, don't waste too much time on little nitpicky information on one singular website. Let's just get a bunch of websites that are objectively way better, send them out, and let's get paid. Then let's do that stuff. Again, guys, get paid. That's what I'm focused on. Let's actually get money coming in. All right, so let's take this prompt. I'm just gonna copy it. And look, you guys can pause the screen. You can look through. It's a very simple prompt. Don't think that, you didn't give us the prompt, so I can't do this. No, this has no value. You can have Claude make this. It's just telling Claude what you want, make an optimized prompt that you can provide to Claude Code. It's very simple. So don't think that this has some sort of value. It does not at all. But let's open up Claude Code, and all I'm gonna do is literally just paste the full thing in and let's let it run. And if you look closely, you can see now it's in the client directory. This is my proprietary, this is my custom thing. So this isn't just a Claude Code feature, but you can see that it wants to create Columbus MAA, Martial Arts Academy, I think. It wants to make its own client directory, and that's where it's gonna house all of this information about this client. So I'm going to allow it to make that directory. I'm telling you, if you guys take the time to build out, and it takes a lot of time, so I'm not gonna bullshit you. It does take a lot of time. But for me, at least, having this infrastructure that I have to run all of my businesses on, all of my clients' businesses on, and using AI in every step of every process, it has completely changed my outlook on life, literally. So my goal with this YouTube channel is to show you guys how to use AI, but use it in an optimized way. I'm not claiming that I am the AI god. I'm not a dev. I don't know how to code if it's not with AI. So I'm gonna be honest and upfront with you there, but I take AI and I use it to make a lot of money. So maybe I'm not the smartest person using AI, but I'm actually making money from it, and other people are too. But that's what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you how you guys can actually leverage AI the right way to generate money. Okay, so you guys can see right here that it just populated all of the sections of this client in the client directory. So we got the business overview, we got the offer details, the deposit, the target audience, all of this good stuff it written out. And this was not supposed to build the actual website. This was just to essentially prep the landing page agent with the information it needs to build out the website. So you can see that this was created in the client directory. So I'm going to pull that up, and we go to clients right here. You can see Columbus MAA. And just to give you guys an example, this template right here, this is a template. So everyone that I've given this vault to, they have this template where they can see exactly how to fill in the information. If I just open it with text edit real quick, let's see. I know this doesn't look the best. I should have opened it with notes, but you can kind of see campaign strategy here. You guys care about visuals, so let me just open the actual notes so you guys don't think it's some BS. Here we go. Now it's formatted. Now it looks clean for you non-code people. But you can see this is just information information about ads, and we follow that across everything when it comes to a business. So when I open up right here, Columbus Martial Arts Academy, right now it's brand new. We just created it. All we have is the knowledge markdown file. But let me open that in notes so you guys can see I didn't fill any of this in myself. This file was just created at 4:27 p.m., which was 2 minutes ago. And all of this information from our scraping and research agent was filled out and populated. And now we just have this insane, with no further investigation, no further information from the actual company. We probably know more about their business than they do at this point. You can see that some of this stuff isn't actually filled in yet. What my agents do is they don't fill in, they don't hallucinate, they don't fill in information that they don't actually have. So they'll mark it TBD, they'll put placeholders, but anything that it does know, it's going to get that filled in. And the beauty about this thing as a whole is the more you work, the more it builds up. And that's why the context isn't lost. You just have all of this accurate context built up and deployable between not only creating landing pages, anything you're doing. That's why I'm telling you guys that after you sell them on a landing page, you should upsell them for more marketing services, SEO services, sales services, whatever it is, you need to upsell them. Right now you don't have this vault, I have the vault, but essentially use this or make one of your own and sell them on other services. All right, so back to the output, we can see that now, look, demo build framing, we are now ready. We have some baseline information to where we're now ready to actually start scoping out this website. And at any point, if you guys see the infrastructure I'm working out of and you like it and you'd want to be able to use it for yourself, it is something that I give, not for free, but my team and I have deployed this exact infrastructure to over 60 businesses at this current point in time. I would be more than happy to scope your business and see how we can map this system to it and provide it to you. Just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that. I know you don't care. I know you only care about the landing page, so let's get back into it. So before we continue further inside of anti-gravity and actually getting this landing page built, in order to ensure that we're actually creating a real good website, it's not going to look vibe coded, it's actually going to be visually appealing, but also converting. At the end of the day, it's a business. They want to convert traffic. They don't want to just look cool. We need to give the agent references. Our landing page agent has great taste. It can build great websites, but right now we are building a website for a local martial arts studio in Columbus, Ohio. So that's a very specific type of business and they need a very specific type of website. So I have a couple of references here that we can take a look at, and I recommend best practices, and you guys should always provide references anytime you're building out a landing page. But this first one, we have US Taekwondo Academy. I think this one's in California, but you can see they very clearly show the different programs they have. They got 2.5 to 6 years old, they got 6 to 12, and they got 13 and up. You can very clearly see. I would say the branding on this is pretty solid. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's getting the job done. This probably wouldn't be my first choice of someone that I want to completely rework their website as opposed to something like this, but that's why we're using this as a reference. And you can even see right here, look how they're talking about the instructor. Look how he actually says who he is and why he's qualified, as opposed to just like, what even is this? Who even are these people? I trust this guy to teach me martial arts than these guys. But I mean, we're just building a website. I'm not going to do too much. I'm just building the website. But like I said, the visual style is a little dated, so I'm not going to pull from that. I'm specifically pulling from this instructor section in this 3-tier program section. Now, reference 2, on the other hand, this is completely different. Now, obviously, this gym is owned by a former professional UFC legend. I don't know if he's retired or not, but you know, they got the assistant. Now, don't include stuff like this. These are upsells, guys. I'll talk about how you can just make an AI assistant for a website. Very simple, very easy upsell that you can have. But we're not going to focus on that portion right now. I'm more worried about this hero visual. I mean, this is insane. This is beautiful. The branding is on point. The colors, they clearly show where it's at, show what the programs they have. They show the trial. They make sure you can actually see the trial. Even though it's far down, their strategy is, here's the guy, here's the ethos, here's the programs we have. And it's a very clear and clean, almost everyone is probably going to land at this point. As opposed to like here, I mean, you might click off of this when it first loads because it just doesn't look real. And I passed it. No one's scrolling all the way down here and no one's reading it. Right now, I cannot locate it. I'm looking at it right now. This is an I Spy game. When right here, it's very clearly displayed. So I really like the visual aspect. I mean, this header video is absolutely amazing. You know, they got their programs, they got their locations, they got the reviews, they got all this stuff. Not an optimal placement of all these tabs. I mean, who's clicking through all of these? But this is a much, much better website on the visual aspect. So we're gonna pull a little bit from here, and then the last reference that we have is Easton Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The reason I'm pulling this is I feel like they have a very good, obviously this is a franchise, you can see they have a bunch of different locations, but it's kind of a blend of something like this that's more structured, more plain, you know, nothing crazy, but it gets the job done. And then this is, you know, over the top, not in a bad way. I think this is a very good website. This is a nice blend of both, where it has the visual appeal, it has the conversion mechanisms, you have the offer right there. Let's see, they have the programs that they have, pictures, you got the VSL, this is the guy, you learn about him, he's the president, tells you why he's the guy to teach you. And there's a lot of ethos on this page. I think this is a nice blend between the both of these. Again, after looking at these, you guys are seeing, when I show this business owner the new website, why would he not close? Look at this website and how terrible it is. Why would he not pay me money to give him one of these? But here's the thing, we're going to make it for his brand because he wants it to align with his current brand identity, which really right now he has barely any. He doesn't even really have any brand identity. So I'd probably just keep the white kind of red little theme, you know, look at his logo right here. But when you're making a website, you don't want it to look like a new company or a new brand. You want it to be an elevated version of their current brand. I promise they're gonna like that a lot more, even if the new brand objectively looks better. I mean, it's subjective, but let's say it looks better. They don't want to buy a new brand. They want to buy an upgraded version of their own brand, of their own company. So now that we have those references locked in, they're locked down. By the way, I included them on that original prompt. So you can see right here, I gave the URLs to the actual references. So this was the original prompt we ran. This is our current output. So it already looked at those references. So the research agent and the scraping agent is not only completely synthesizing this entire website, but it's also looking at these three references that I gave it already. So now what we're going to do, I have this prompt, and yes, I used Claude to make it. So again, there's nothing valuable in this prompt. You can just have Claude make it. Just tell Claude you need to make whatever the prompt is for it, whether it's a landing page or anything you're doing. Have Claude make the prompt and then give that to Claude Code. Don't just talk to Claude Code. Even though they say you can do that, that doesn't mean it's going to give you the best outputs. So I have a very simple prompt right here. In terms of the structure, this is how Claude Code likes to read prompts, or AI in general. That's how they like to read prompts. Obviously, I wouldn't write it like this, but essentially what we're going to do is build a spec sheet before we actually build the landing page. Why do we do this? Well, when we build a spec sheet, we're going to be able to take a look at, again, this is prompting the landing page agent to build a spec sheet. So when it builds that spec sheet, we're going to be able to look at that. And if we see basic things, again, I bounce around a lot, guys, but like try and stay along with me because all of this stuff goes together. When you look at a website like this, you guys see the visual, right? You see it's called HTML. You see this entire thing. What does AI see? AI just sees the code. All of this is code being displayed. When I go on if I go on like inspect tool, this is what the page actually is. This is what the human eye reads, but this is what the actual page is composed of. So when we go back to the spec sheet that I'm having Claude make, we're specifically telling it, do not generate HTML, just the spec sheet. Again, we do this because if we audit the spec sheet it creates and we identify changes that need to be made, now we don't have to change the actual UI, the actual user interface of the website. It's just changing lines of code. So it's just a more efficient process to just jumping right into the landing page. All those vibe coded landing pages that you guys see are because they didn't get information like we did previously, the previous prompt that I had. They didn't scrape information and get a brand profile prior to beginning the project. They didn't provide references prior to beginning the project. They just gave it a prompt, hey, this is what I want, and they go into it. Now we did those things. Now we're having it create a spec sheet that we can then review before we create the actual landing page. And again, like I mentioned before, I do all this automated. I'm showing you guys how to do this, but I have systems set up where this is all automated. This is the proper way to go about it, but it's not like you actually have to spend the time doing it. All I'm doing is taking prompts from Claude, giving it to Claude Code. The way I have my stuff set up, I don't have to be doing it. I'm doing it for the video. Claude can talk to Claude Code whenever it wants. It doesn't need me. So I can have these landing pages just getting built and built and built and built and just send them out. And I mean, we'll talk about automations for actually sending them out right now. Let's focus on the landing page. So let's copy this right here. I'm going to open up anti-gravity in the same session. This is the original prompt that we gave it. Right now we're only one prompt in, and I'm going to paste this prompt from Google Docs. I'm going to paste this right here. We're going to click enter, and we're going to let Claude Code run and let it cook up the spec sheet. Now notice guys, it's reading the landing page skill for the landing page agent. So we have over 60 different skills that these agents are able to use, but it's doing a couple of different things. It's looking at the client directory that we've built. It's referencing all the skills and SOPs that it uses to create these landing pages. Again, the more you use this stuff, the more it compounds, the more capabilities your agents have, the better outputs you actually get. Right now, this is a very fresh thing. I just kind of use it for videos, but it's still going to give us a A+ quality output. And just so you know, the skill that it's reading right now, you can see like it's looking at the design system skills for the landing page agent. There's different types of landing pages. That's why it matters. All right, this is a martial arts academy, right? There's sales page, there's a VSL page, there's an e-com page, like all these different types of websites, maybe like a art gallery type page where they're not conversion focused. They're just trying to showcase things. There's all these different types of landing pages, and all of that context, all of that knowledge is stored inside of this vault. And right now, all it's doing is reviewing the agent skills, reviewing all the page types, and it's going to identify the best page type to work out of for this client based off all of the information that we've provided it up until this point. Everything in that client directory, everything in these prompts. And right now, here we go. It just identified that it's gonna go with the agency or service page. A martial arts studio, that is a service. So it doesn't have to be an agency, it's an in-person service. It's the same kind of framework. They don't have a direct-to-checkout aspect, or maybe they have a direct-to-checkout, but they don't have like an actual e-com. They don't have merchandise or anything. So we don't need to worry about any e-com stuff. Obviously they're not an art gallery. They are a service. They're a local service provider. I mean, that is what they are. They're brick and mortar, but they're a local service provider. So that's the page that Claude decided it's going to write a spec for. And so you can see right here that it's selecting the page structure. Then after it has all of the sections of that structure, then it's gonna write section by section copy, add the conversion elements, specify the design. So these are just kind of the little nuances, the overall branding. And then it's gonna write the actual spec sheet and provide it back to us. We're gonna review that spec sheet, audit it, see how it looks, maybe make some changes. And all I'm worried about is kind of, let's just get an overall nice looking landing page. We'll enhance it and we'll do things after we see the first thing. I'm not trying to make it just create the best thing off the first rip. Let's see what it comes up with. Let's look at it and then let's just go from there. Okay, so Claude just finished drafting the spec sheet. We have the full one here. I'll just kind of open it up. Anti-gravity was not what I wanted to do. Let me open it in notes. So here we got the full spec sheet. This is essentially what the entire website is going to be. So you'll want to go through these when your agent or your Claude Code creates it, and either go through it with the naked eye and actually look at it, or if you just want to trust it and post it, you can. I typically like to go through them in case there are things that I might find. Okay, so I just spent like 10 minutes reading through this entire thing just to make sure I'm giving you guys accurate information. And honestly, there were way less catches or like things that I wanted to fix than I originally anticipated. Just goes to show, obviously, that the agent is pretty much cracked. So like I said, for the most part, this looks good, but why does it look so good? It's because we actually did the proper steps of providing it context. We gave it references. It's using the pre-existing vault, which is probably 80% of the reason, 90% of the reason even. And we've gone through this process. We made the spec sheet first. We didn't just make the landing page. We made the spec sheet first. No one who's making all those vibe coded things, those vibe coded assets, whether it's a landing page, whatever, no one's doing all of this. I mean, even people that were creating landing pages before for companies, before AI, if they were doing this, it was a much worse version. So like, you all can make the most cracked assets. Again, I'm covering a landing page today. I can cover something else tomorrow. This type of process applies to literally everything that you guys build. Now, with that being said, there were a couple of things that I identified, and I want to cover them with you so you guys can see that, you know, there are still going to be some little catches that you'll need to be able to identify. Here's the thing with AI, and everyone kind of asks, not me, just in general, like, all right, if everyone has AI, who's actually good? Well, everyone has AI right now. Only a couple people are actually making money with it. And I'm assuming you already make money. Again, you're watching this video, like, I'm not trying to target people who don't currently run or operate businesses, so you already make money. It's going to come down to if you have taste, if you're able to actually look at the AI output and think, can this be better? Can this be fixed? Can that be fixed? Maybe you use AI to make those fixes, right? But the people that just have no taste at all see it, whoa, and they think it's sick, and it's not sick. So let's go over some of the things that this landing page agent kind of messed up on, and let's fix it, because we're actually good business owners and we actually want to create good outputs. So let's go through them. So the first thing I noticed, if you see in section 5 where we're talking about the coaches. So if you guys remember earlier in this video when I told you how the agent doesn't fill in information into the client directories that it doesn't have, well, you can see right here that it had to be determined, because this information on these coaches, unless we talk to them or unless we can find it somewhere in publicly available information, we're not going to have that information readily available for us. So it kind of did a good thing, but it did a bad thing where it acknowledged, like, this looks like instructions to itself, honestly, where it's like, this is TBD, we don't have this information yet. But the problem, it put it in the spec sheet, but if I were to upload the spec sheet as is, if we were to just take this and run like everyone else, the body of that coaching card for each of these coaches would have said TBD. Obviously, we don't want that. Now that I think about it, it's not the end of the world if we're just sending it to them as a mock-up. So maybe it's not even the worst thing, but it's good to actually be aware and identify these things versus being completely blind what's here on our spec sheet. The smart business move that I would do in this scenario, and what you guys should do in a similar scenario, would be, we don't have information, but just putting TBD kind of kills the energy. It kills the magic of the website. So let's choose a generalized kind of placeholder that still reads fine. It still comes into flow. They get the understanding of, like, okay, obviously, like on onboarding, they get the information without us actually having to write out TBD. We don't have this information. We can just give a nice placeholder so they can visualize it. This is the placeholder they have right now. Our instructors are highly trained and experienced martial artists who are passionate about teaching martial art. I mean, they don't even have anything to begin with, so they can't even be mad. I mean, our placeholder is going to be better than their current working thing that they have. I doubt it's working. I mean, they're still in business, so I didn't even mean to go in here where you need to be back in notes. So that was the first thing I noticed. Another thing I noticed, and this is kind of basic stuff, honestly, this header in section 1, this is too long. I mean, come on, this is too much. Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, self-defense, all in one Grove City gym. Grove City is the city that they're actually in, but that's just way too long. I don't see that reading well as a headline, so that's another thing that I flagged. And then the last major thing I noticed was really just that there was no footer. I don't think they have section FAQ, final CTA. This spec sheet does not have a footer. Obviously, every business, you need the footer at the bottom of the page. Do they have a footer right now? Barely they have one, but that's another thing I noticed. So I'm just gonna jot those things down. I'm gonna paste this spec sheet into Claude and tell it, hey, here are the things I noticed. You take a look at it. Tell me what you think. And then I'm going to take what it gives me and just use that prompt. So now that we've identified the things that we want to change, and I gave the spec sheet to Claude. Honestly, guys, I was lazy. There's personal information that's shown on my Claude chat that I just don't want the entire world to see. So I didn't show me doing it, but like, please take my word for it. I don't know if you guys know what Whisper Flow is. You should. But all I did was take the actual file, this spec sheet. I just took the file, I pasted it into Claude. I said, here's the spec sheet of the build. Here are the things I saw. What did you see? Create a prompt that I can send to Claude Code. I promise you that's what I did. In here, this is the prompt that it gave us. So let's take a look at it, because again, you guys can make these. These are not valuable. I want to make sure that's clear, but let's see. Coaching card placeholders, talked about that. Move section 8, so some social proof stuff that it was able to flag the sequencing, the order of the sections. I guess the social proof should be in a different spot. Let's just see how it looks. I'll take Claude's word for it, let it make that change. Tighten the hero headline, add the footer section. And so again, look, it's just making the change. Copy, and we're gonna pull anti-gravity back up. I'm going to go here, I'm gonna paste it in, and we're gonna let it run. And you're gonna see that it's only going to apply these 4 changes that we listed out in this prompt. That actually reminds me, remember when I told you why we make the spec sheet? Look, we looked at the spec sheet, we noticed things that would have shown up on the actual live HTML page, and all we have to do right now, you guys are seeing it work in real time, all we have to do is change lines on a spec sheet as opposed to like actually having to change one by one all these things on the landing page. Might mess something else up. This is such a cleaner way. If you don't have a spec sheet that looks good, obviously the landing page isn't going to look good. So if we get a good spec sheet, look at it, make a couple of edits right here. Now it's making the edits. Then let's use that spec sheet to actually make the landing page. And if we have things we want to change, we probably will. At least we're just in a better position. We have less things we have to change. It's probably going to be smaller little micro things. It's not like you're going to make a landing page and then now it's just completely messed up. No, let's just look at the spec sheet. Let's make changes from there. Then let's go to the landing page. So Claude Code just finished. I put my sweatshirt back on because I got cold. But you can see right here was our prompt, which was just this. We have it right here. And we were just making those changes that we identified on that first pass. So this was pass 2. And you know, the actual file, it's the same file. It's just editing that same file it had. But you can see right here that coach card bodies were fixed, headline tightened, new section 10 for the footer, cross references updated. So it made the changes right here. So now, you know, there's no point in us, you can, but you know, we don't need to waste time. Like I said, the details you figure out after you sell them. We want to just actually get this done. And I want to show you guys, obviously, I told you 30 minutes, maybe it's a little bit more than 30 minutes, but I run this automated. My system does this automated. So for me, it truly takes no time at all. It's only taking longer because we're really going through step by step. But all we're going to do, I don't want to go through this actual spec sheet again. We already did it once. Let's just render it and let's just see how the actual page looks. And so all I did for the actual page rendering was I took that output that it gave, the updated spec sheet, and that same Claude chat. Again, there's private information. I don't want to edit out, but take my word for it, please. I promise you, take my word for it. All I did was take that output, I pasted it in, I said draft a prompt, review the spec sheet, draft a prompt to render the page. And this is what we have right here. So you can see this is the actual production HTML that we're going to make. And right here, this is the exact prompt. I'm gonna take this exact prompt. Again, this is not valuable, guys. Ask Claude to do it and it will make this for you. Don't think that I'm gatekeeping prompts. Like anyone who's trying to sell you prompts are nothing, guys. I promise you, prompts are nothing. Look, I'm pasting it right here. Let's let it run. Let's get this website actually built out. And right now it is generating the HTML deliverable. So it looked at the updated spec sheet. Well, it made the spec sheet. It looked at the prompt that I said. It's going to look at the spec sheet again and making sure that there's no M dashes, of course. Can't have M dashes. And now it's actually building out the custom HTML. And I already said it once, or I said it twice now, but just to reiterate, this is exactly why we do not ask for HTML right away. It's so much easier to just change the spec sheet and get the right spec sheet and then create the HTML. Such a more optimized process as opposed to just being so trigger happy and just making the HTML right away and you just have no context, you have no references, you haven't looked at a spec sheet whatsoever. It's just not optimal. It's just not how you do things. Here's what I will say though. If you guys are running marketing agencies or SEO or anything where you have like a client, your business is having a bunch of clients, businesses that you help grow, whatever you're doing, maybe you have your own businesses. Using this system, using this infrastructure, you're not going to have to do all of this really. I mean, starting from the HTML is where we're actually going to start because you already have that information. You can take files, you can scrape social medias, you can scrape the landing page. I mean, right here, we scraped and did research on this Columbus martial arts and we got a full page of information from the scraping and research agent. Imagine if we were doing this for, it doesn't have to be a celebrity, like just someone who has some sort of online presence or a business that has been around a long time and has a lot of online presence as well. That research and scraping information is going to be so much more robust than what we're able to get through here. I mean, this is bottom of the barrel, guys. I mean, this is literally Luke, Naomi, and Steve. I mean, who are these people? So when you guys have your own businesses, if you have this infrastructure, or you just literally upload the files, make a brain dump, it's going to properly store everything. If you guys remember that big orb I showed, it's going to properly store everything and be able to readily use it. So when you actually open this up, and again, with our system, I'm showing you the code. I don't want to go too deep, but we can have it where you don't have to be in the terminal. You just have a dashboard where you can click around and have it do things. Again, my stuff's automated. I'll save that for another video. My stuff personally is automated. I'm in here because I build things for people, but in terms of what I use for my business, I'm not in here. And when I mean in here, I'm talking about in the actual terminal, in actually Claude code. But again, with your businesses, if you have pre-existing data that you can provide, you can just go straight to the HTML. Even if you have a website that you're already using, that's solid. If any of you guys have websites that are built with a platform, I would just recommend making it custom. I mean, it'll just look better. You won't have a template. Maybe you have it look nice, that's fine. Maybe you already had maybe someone already built you a website, that's fine. But I would just make it look better. You can see that 5 minutes, this one's going to be one of the longer runs because it's actually, it's building a full website. So who am I to judge? But this process the initial build of the HTML is going to be the longest process. Keep in mind, if you are specifically doing this to just sell to businesses for one, the money, and two, to get your foot in the door to sign clients, you don't need to go very OD with it. You just want to get something that's objectively, this is the metric, it's objectively 10 times better. If you have it there, don't make it 20 times better. That's not a good use of your time. Keep it at 10 times better, show it to them, and make the next one. And again, I have systems where it's automated, but just make them and send them out and sign these deals. If you already have clients, you're making money, you got things going, you already know what you need to do. You just wanted to see how to actually build it. So if you are in that scenario though, you're gonna want this infrastructure. If you actually have a lot of clients or even a couple of clients that do a lot of volume, you're gonna want a real infrastructure that you're working out of. But we can see that all the confirmations have passed. We have the actual HTML ready to go. So without further ado, let's open up the website. We're gonna put it here in Safari, and this is what they currently have. I swear to God, I promise I have not seen this yet. I am going to give my first reaction live with you. This isn't live, but this is my first official reaction, I promise. So let's see. All right, so you can clearly tell that that was my first reaction. Now, terrible font choice, I'll be honest. Terrible font choice. This font is absolutely terrible. The font's terrible, but I'm looking at the structure of the page. This is much, much better. And what we would do, because obviously there's not that many pictures, right? We would take pictures from their site, which they don't even have that many, but we can take some of these pictures and we can upload them to the website. So it's not so wordy. There's not so much copy. There's actually pictures to use. But in terms of the overall structure, this isn't bad. It's way better than what they had, but it does look a little vibe coded. I'm not gonna lie. I do not like this font at all. And honestly, this orange, it's like, yes, they don't really have that much branding, but I think we should stick with this kind of branding because like when they look at this, they're gonna see a whole different business. This is a whole new brand. They don't associate with this, so it's gonna be hard to sell them on something that's different from what they have. Not like you want it to be better, but you don't want it to just be different. Even if it is objectively better, it can't be completely different. So here's what I'm gonna do. I need to change this font. I'm gonna change the colors and let's add some pictures so it just looks a little bit better because there's no pictures on here. I think that's the most optimal choice. And so you guys seeing this live initial reaction to this, it just goes to show like I'm not giving you a cookie cutter thing where, oh, we got the best output and then you try it and then you get something like this. No, I'm looking at this right here and remember what this looks like. I'm gonna show you how quickly we can turn this into an insane looking website. When I say insane, I'm just saying like, not this font, have a better font, but match kind of the white, it looks like just red, black type of branding. So let me take the pictures from this website and we'll use these. Okay, you already know the drill. I basically told Claude, same thing I just told you guys. And we essentially have a prompt here. A couple of things that we're doing. We are changing the theme to make sure we match their current theme. The typography, for the sake of I just want to go with enter. It's a normal font, typical font. I mean, dude, that font was terrible. I apologize honestly for that, guys. Like that font, I'm embarrassed of that font. I would never use that font for anything. And then the third thing that we're gonna do is we're just gonna hot link the images from their site. So I think it'll just look a lot better if we are using images from the actual site as opposed to just placeholders, because you guys can't really vision it. I can't really vision it. The person's not gonna be able to vision it. The business owner is not gonna be able to vision it. So I recommend all of you guys take images from their website. If you can't find images from their website, use placeholders, but like actual images that, not just stock images, like real images that you can find. Again, don't take too long, but just don't use like basic stock stuff. I'm just gonna use their images. If they have images, even if you don't like them, just use theirs, because at the end of the day, it's theirs. They're gonna recognize them. Like, remember, always frame it. What are they going to think? What are they seeing? So, some of these aren't bad. We'll take these and utilize them. So that's the other thing we told Claude to do. And then I need to approve all these things because now it's doing the hot linking. So those three things, it's the font, it's the theme, like like the color scheme of the actual site and then the pictures. Just those 3 things. And it kind of goes to show like, okay, that site that it showed, it's objectively better, but I would never send something like this. These are small things, but they look big, right? Look, all we're doing is changing a font. It looks big because it's everywhere, but we're really just changing a font. The colors, it looks big because it's everywhere, but we're really just changing color code. The images, that's a little bit of a task because we're hot linking images from their site and we're about to host them here, but very small changes in terms of code, very big changes in terms of the visual appeal. So keep that in mind. I also just realized I'm trying to justify why we needed to have a second go around. It wasn't good on the first one. I mean, objectively it is good, but at the end of the day, remember, when could you do this before? I mean, yes, now there's, AI stuff, but before you didn't have AI. But even with AI, I mean, you can go on some of these AI platforms and again, make probably like something like this is the best you can get. This was the first draft we got. And then, again, let's also be clear. I mean, the information and stuff is all here. The information's correct. All of this stuff is good. It looks bad because of the font, because of the colors. There's no images. These are small things that we can change, but the actual site itself is much better than what they had. This stuff might be fabricated. That's fine. You don't have to really have the exact numbers. Let's see. Is it fabricated? Is it adults 80? It's not. Information's correct. Here's the schedule. I think it posted a schedule somewhere, like upcoming classes. Yeah, right here. That's so much better than what they have right now. And all we need is a 3-step change. The second attempt, we're just changing 3 things, and we're both gonna see, like, I'm telling you, it's gonna look insanely better. So let's see what it comes out with. All right, so Claude code is now finished. Don't ask what happened. I know it's darker, right? I know it's darker. Everything crashed, essentially. Everything crashed. I was able to recover the footage, but I had to download it, and that took like an hour and a half. So I'm back now, 2 hours later, maybe 2.5 hours later. Kind of annoying, but let's finish out the video. We have the output, and you can kind of see it behind. This is the updated landing page. So I had the fix running. I think when the video ended, I didn't touch anything. I let it finish running, and obviously I was waiting for the thing to download, but this is where we're at right now. So what I'll say off rip, we got some issues right here we can fix, but comparing this to what it looked like before, this is much better. It's way more in line with what they have, obviously way better, but all we did was change the font. We changed the colors. Now the color scheme's way more on brand, and we added some photos, and it only added a couple. This honestly, like, we did a hot link, which is a temporary thing when you're kind of doing mass outreach. So like, if I was gonna send this, I'd probably just go one more attempt to just get all that stuff in. Or honestly, I would just take the actual photos, drag it onto my thing, and then just use the actual files. That would make it work perfectly. But for the sake of the video, I mean, you guys get the point. You guys are already gonna be able to take this and run with it. But we got a nice setup here, honestly. Definitely looks better. I mean, there's little things, right? Like, I'd probably make this hero image darker, or like add shadows so these pop more. Obviously this thing, I don't know what happened here, but that needs to get fixed. Like, I would still go through and make this better. And I'll be honest to you guys, would I send this in its current state? No, I wouldn't. But what I would do is probably just add a couple more pictures and then send it. Cause like, this is pretty much here. It's just, for me, it's just the pictures. I don't know. Seeing the placeholders is making me mad. Other than that, in this little part, everything's kind of good. Everything's pretty good. Way better than what they had. And if you just take this same philosophy or this same process I walked you through today, and you just apply it on a mass scale, I think that's another thing. Like, you guys sat here and you watched the video. This is the representation you're getting. For me, and for you guys, when you guys are actually rolling this out, bro, this is 1 out of 10 a day. This is 1 out of 5 a day. So it's like, this is so much better than what they currently have. And realistically, sending this and just saying, hey, we can wire this a little bit better, we can add some of your pictures on, but here's a website already made, like, I just have to configure a couple things. You want it? I mean, they're gonna look back at this, they're gonna see, wow, it's the same brand, it's the same guys on here. Wow, ours really does look like trash. And then they're gonna buy it. They're gonna buy it. Even probably like this, they would still buy it. And then also explain to them, it's not just the visual, right? Explain to them how it's actually going to convert more. Look, your address is right here, phone number's right here, the offer's right here, you got free classes. Like, this is going to convert way better than your rinky-dink, whatever this is. So keep that in mind. So realistically, what can you actually do with this? All you have to do, you're gonna host this on Vercel. I can walk you through another time. Very simple. It's Vercel. Look it up. Everyone knows it. If you don't know it, you should know it if you're trying to play with code and stuff. You host this on Vercel and you just make their domain the name of their company or the person you're sending to. And you just send it to them and you pitch them, hey, here's the website. I just kind of walk you through it. This is what you guys can use. This is going to be way better. I'd probably make this bold too. It's just my ADHD. I'd make all of this stuff bold for sure. All of these things I would make bold. So there's still changes that I would make, but I have this fully automated. And let's be clear, the whole point of this process that we went through is to take these deliverables and add on more. But even just this, you take this, you offer this as an initial, here you go, hey, I took the time to make this website for you. If you like it, it costs money. Whether you get the money or you don't get the money, maybe you just upsell them to another service from there. But you get the money and now your foot's in the door and now you upsell them. Hey, you guys could really use blogs, SEO. You guys could really use ads. You guys could really use Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever it is. You upsell them because you're skilled, you know what to do. So like the whole reason I made this video is to show you probably right now the easiest way to spark conversations, completely turning around websites and using that as a conversation starter. Here you go. It's already done. I'm not telling you I can do it. Here it is. But I can do these other things. And that's where you start making money. So when I'm told I can't make $1 million landing page, is this $1 million landing page? No, it's not. But a landing page can make you $1 million. So this is just a martial arts thing. But if like for a real offer with volume, I just wanted to use like a brick and mortar, something fun, cool, different. For a real offer, yes, this type of landing page, this can make $1 million. It doesn't take your time. And it's a high leverage way of starting conversations with prospects and signing those prospects and having the proof to show that you can do. You're opening the conversation with, look, here's what I did for you. And then you're saying, here's what else I can do, as opposed to having nothing. Hey, I can do this, this, and that. Oh, but if you do want me to do it, you have to pay me. Oh, I can't show you. Like, here's what I did. You like it? Oh yeah, it's 10 times better than your current thing, right? Yeah, of course. I can also do these things better than I can make a landing. I watched some dude named Elijah Bricker. I watched his video and I just learned how to do this last week, but I do know how to run Google ads and I do know how to run SEO and I do know how to run Facebook ads better than this landing page. Like now I'm just playing around, but you guys will sign deals. You guys will make money if you truly run this the right way. And I'll be honest to you, you need an infrastructure. You need a infrastructure within code, whether it's Claude Code, whether it's Codex, whatever it is. But to be completely frank with you guys, you need an infrastructure. Because here's the thing, this is the business, right? This realistically, like this is your code. These are your automations. These are your systems. These are your processes. Claude Code is a tool. If you try to use a tool for too much, if you try to make a tool do too many things, it's out of its scope. So the reason people get bad outputs, whether it's for landing pages or whether it's for using Claude for their business and all these different things. Got some more light here. At the end of the day, think of Claude as like a screwdriver. You can obviously use a screwdriver to screws, right? And it's gonna work amazing. It's gonna be insane. You can use a screwdriver as a hammer. Maybe you turn it around and you just start banging it. It might get the job done, but it's not gonna be as effective as a hammer. But if you're only operating within Screwdriver, which is Claude Code, if you're only operating within their in-house infrastructure, that's what you're working with, but you're trying to apply that to every aspect of your business. You wanna automate every part of your business, but you don't have a hammer. You're trying to use the screwdriver as a hammer. Maybe the hammer is client context, unlimited client context. Maybe that's what it is, because you guys know your project files, all that stuff you have in there, all those SOPs that you dump into an LLM, you know that's summarized, right? The most general summary, you hit your context window and all that stuff's gone. I hope you know that. This is not context window. This is files on my computer. I'm showing you guys through Obsidian, the visual, right? But these are all files. I own these files. I have unlimited storage. The storage is my M5 MacBook Pro that has 4 terabytes of storage. So I got the storage. I have the context window, but I'll use Claude. This is my toolbox. This is literally the toolbox. I have hammers in here. I got screwdrivers. I got drills. I got rulers, I got levelers, I got screws, nails. I have everything I need in this toolbox. And I'm able to take Claude and use it and get the most out of it because I'm providing it with all the tools it needs. It's an AI, guys. This is a business in a box. And obviously, I can share the business with the box with you and show you how to automate things and show you how to do a whole bunch of things for your business that'll help it scale tremendous levels. Here's the thing. Claude is not a business in a box. Everyone looks at it like a business in a box because everyone's posting on TikTok and Instagram, oh, Claude Code this, Claude Code that, or Claude this, Claude that. Is Claude extremely powerful? Yes. Is Claude on top right now? Yes. Is Claude valid? Yes. But it's not a business in a box. If you're watching this, you want a business in a box. Claude is a tool that will allow you to have a business in a box, but it's not the actual business in a box. This right here, this is a business in a box. Okay, so whether you want to use the one that I use for my agency and the one that over 60 operators are also using for their agencies as well, and it doesn't have to be an agency. We have e-com people, we have brick and mortar people, we got a whole bunch of people in our community, honestly. But if you're not going to use this, build one of your own. Please build one of your own, because if you're going to try and use Claude for everything in terms of like all the stuff, like your business is a business. It's not a tool. You're trying to pack a business into a tool. Pack your business into a freaking vault, into an orb, and use the tool to interact and play around with this. We have agents in here. We have all routing, pipeline orchestration. We have all this stuff in here. Maybe I'll give you guys a tour, right? But long story short, landing pages aside, I know you clicked on for landing pages, but lock in, guys. Lock in. Claude is not everything. You need to facilitate Claude with something. You need some sort of house for Claude to live in. This is Claude's mega mansion. You guys are using Claude Chat and it's homeless and you're wondering why it's not performing well. So this is how you build a website using Claude Code. Again, if you're using this for outreach, don't spend too much time on it. The only difference between, let's say if you really wanted to go the full way with edits, the only difference would be us just kind of going back and forth 1, 2, maybe 3 more times. That's all it is. It's not interesting. You saw the most of it. At the end of the day, besides my camera dying or whatever even happened, I whipped it up in a couple of minutes. So you can do it, I can do it, everyone can do it. I will be posting more walkthroughs, so not just landing pages, other business processes as well. I'm very excited. You guys have literally you can't comprehend what's about to come. So look out for those. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Instagram, Elijah.Bricker. I appreciate you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.